abatement policy, this does establish reasonable cause for abatement, and it is our staff recommendation to approve this request. So I'm going to go through all of them since we also have a denial in here, and then if you have any questions or if you just want to approve the report as presented, we can do that at the end. The number 2 here, you see it's the same taxpayer A. It's a different amount, different tax period, but the same situation with the death of the spouse. It's $218.13 is the amount we are recommending for abatement. That's $75 in penalties and $143.13 in interest. And you can see the city P&I, county P&I, and school P&I that is affected. And this is for their withholding periods in 2022. So we do see these from time to time. It's very sad, but definitely something we would approve abatement for. Taxpayer B here, this is a total request of $78.06, 75 penalty, and $306 in interest, city, county, and school board splits. This is for the November 22 payroll withholding period, and we are recommending approval on this. I apologize for that, jumping around here. This taxpayer indicated that a check was issued and mailed via the Postal Service to the Revenue Commission, but however, they confirmed with their bank statements the check never cleared their account, and we confirmed that we never received it. Taxpayer promptly stopped payment on the check and reissued a replacement check. Per our abatement policy, this does establish reasonable cause, as this was entirely beyond the taxpayer's control, and they promptly addressed the issue with us. So that would also be recommended approval. And the final one here, taxpayer C, again, we're talking 2 different tax years. We are denying the $150 in total. Actually, that's not true. It's a little bit more complicated than that. Let me get into the explanation here. They've requested the late filing penalties for net profit tax years 2019 to 2021 that total actually $225. Since the 2019 was the taxpayer's first year of operation, we were able to grant a one-time courtesy waiver of $75 for that tax year. That does not require commissioner approval. That's a long-standing policy we've had for several years. However, the remaining $150 in late filing penalties, on their abatement request form, they check the box that indicates Revenue Commission advice or error as the reason for the abatement request. However, the narrative they provided makes no mention of any Revenue Commission advice or error. Instead, the narrative states that the business made no profit in 19, 20, or 21, and that they failed to file returns as they mistakenly assumed no tax returns were due. This is insufficient to establish reasonable cause for abatement. By law, it is the responsibility of the business to complete their due diligence and be compliant with all federal, state, and local tax filing requirements. Additionally, as indicated on our website, our forms, and our instructions, the filing of an annual net profit return is required regardless of the size of the business, the amount of revenue generated, and whether or not a net profit was realized. And for that reason, we deny the request for 2020 and 2021, but we did give them the one-time courtesy waiver, which gives them a little relief on that first year. And this one here is the same thing, just a different year, very same explanation. So I'd be happy to answer any questions or entertain a motion to accept the report as presented.
I make a motion.
Motion from Mr. Jenkins. Any second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 6, 2 refunds greater than 10,000.
That's correct, Judge. So the first one here is both of these that I'm going to present to you are employee refunds. It's the exact same scenario, even the exact same tax year, only the amounts are different. This is for tax year 2022. It's $12,642.40. This is only a city and county refund. There's no school board portion. This employee refund request is due to the employee having the entire year of wages withheld upon them. In fact, they were working outside of Scott County during that tax year. After a complete audit review, we recommend approval. And just so you know, on these employee refund requests, there is a box there where their employer, their immediate supervisor, has to sign certifying that, yes, they were outside of the jurisdiction during this time. That's part of our review process. So we recommend approval of this $12,642.40 employee refund request.
Questions?
I'll make a motion on that. And thanks for the description, Scott.
You're welcome, sir.
I'll second that motion.
Any other comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right,
Scott?
and this is, I'm sorry, Judge, didn't mean to
Go
step
ahead.
on that.
No.
So this is the second employee refund request, again, tax year 2022. It's a little less, 11,164.80. You can see the city and county splits. Again, there's no school board component to this. Very same situation. The taxpayer was not working in Scott County for the entire year, and their supervisor signed off on the form that that is in fact correct. So it's our recommendation that this refund be approved.
Make a recommendation, a motion.
All right, we have a
I'll
motion.
second.
Second. Any other comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Scott, number 7, RFP audit services. We need
Yes,
a
Judge.
motion for that.
Yes, our RFP is ready to put out for audit services every several years, usually 3 to 5 years. At some point, we put this out for bid, and it's ready to go. We just need a motion to approve to release that RFP and get that process rolling.
Any questions about that RFP?
No, sir. I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Next, we will go to update no RFP on cyber risk insurance. Scott, you've got some new guidance and some discussion related to House Bill 522.
Yes, sir, Judge, that is correct. So we had planned to put this cyber risk insurance policy out for bid because last year their premium was $29,577. So we knew it would exceed the $30,000 threshold. But the new guidance, Jessica working in conjunction with Devin and Stacy at City Hall, that number one, this is personal services, so it's not subject to RFP. Number two, we already use a broker for all of our insurance policies. So he is already shopping multiple potential carriers for this particular policy. And so for those reasons, it is not required to be put out for bid. I've already received the underwriting documents from our broker, and we're working with our managed services provider, our third-party IT people to get that completed and get that information to them. Also, House Bill 522, I just wanted to reference that because the legislature passed that last month. The governor signed it in March into law. It takes effect June 29th, and that raises the threshold from 30,000 to 40,000 after June 29th. So I didn't know if you were aware of that or were following that, but effective June 29th, House Bill 522 actually takes effect, and that threshold goes from 30 to 40,000 moving forward. So again, no board action there. I just wanted to give you a verbal update on that, and we are proceeding to hopefully get a decent quote this year.
Very good. That's good news. We'll move on down for approval consideration for new PC and monitor per VC3 quote.
Yes, I need a motion to approve this because it exceeds my $2,500 threshold. I'm authorized to make purchases up to 25. Other than that, I need to put it out for the commissioners for approval. It does not reach the RFP threshold, obviously. What has happened here, Frank Allen, our business license inspector, he has the oldest computer that we have, and it's given him a lot of problems over the past few weeks. And we worked with VC3, and it's just too old. So it's time for a new one. In addition, we want to add an additional monitor. Everyone else here has 2 monitors, which is very helpful when we're working through these complex tax documents. Frank is engaged in several compliance projects where we're using data from the State Department of Revenue or other sources, and it's time to add an extra monitor for him as well. We've had good luck with these Dell all-in-ones where the monitor and the computer is all in one, and then we'll be adding an additional monitor. Now, the labor is a little higher than normal here because VC3 for these new configurations and new equipment, they have gone from 2 hours to 4 hours. And this particular case, we're probably going to be closer to 4 hours. We think that's appropriate because not only do they have to add a monitor, but also the laptop that we have in the fleet vehicle that Frank drives around in when he's on patrol is basically an extension of his computer at his desk. So that will have to be configured as well. So the total price tag is $3,247, and I'm requesting approval to go ahead and make that happen, get that ordered today.
Questions or comments?
No, sir. I can start us with a motion to approve.
Have a motion?
Second that motion.
Second for Mr. Jenkins. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Get that man a computer. We'll go to number 10, general discussion.
Yes, I thank you for that approval, and so does Frank. So, general discussion. All right, so we do have a new cabinet for economic development report that I want to share with you here. We do have a new one in March. The company's called LandCal LLC. It's a KBI policy, which could potentially have a local wage credit with it. It is a preliminary approval. It's a $600,000 project cost. The incentive is $175. Average hourly wage is $26 an hour. They have 12 jobs now. Looks like they're going to be adding 10 more. It's a non-retail service technology, and I have also pulled up or I did. I don't know where it's going. Let's see here. Just a moment. I'm sorry.
While you're pulling that up, I believe they either have a ribbon cutting or a groundbreaking or some sort of LandCal has something today at 11 or 11:30. I don't know if either Judge Mayer, if you all were aware or not.
I was aware of this, of this KBI, but I didn't know anything about a ribbon cutting.
Neither did I.
Let me see here. I got it here. Let's see. Everyone see that now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right, so they are a multimodal shipping services and managed logistics solutions. So always good to see new jobs, and that one is in the pipeline. So I just wanted to share that with you. Mr. Landacre and Mr. Calvin, that's where LandCal comes from. That's pretty clever. They're the two founders. So always excited to see new jobs coming in the community. I like to just keep you abreast of those when they happen.
Good deal.
So, and then we are in the period here where our employer that has this tax incentive, February and March, they have reached their cap of 1.2 million. So there will be no payment for this month or next month.
Good news.
Oh, the third bullet point here, Hardin County tax administrator came and shadowed us in March. She spent 2 full days here, and this is always a feather in our cap, and we're proud to tell you about this. That the Hardin County is where the new Blue Oval SK EV battery plants are going down around Elizabethtown, and it's a small county. They didn't even have an occupational tax before this project started, and of course, when it's all done in a few years, between the 2 plants, I think there'll be approximately 5,000 new employees down there. So it's basically half the size of Toyota. So she came to us and shadowed us and was specifically interested in learning more about her ordinance, which Jessica helped her with her. And Tammy and Denny both work with her on net profit returns, because that's a lot more complicated than payroll. And she got a lot out of it. We were happy to help her. And it's not the first time we've done something like this, and it won't be the last, but it's very complimentary that when they want to learn things, they come to us. So I just wanted to share that with you.
It's always great to share and have collaboration between like agencies.
Well, that's what COLA is all about, our State Tax Association, Kentucky Occupational License Association. We help each other. Jessica and I, there's numerous jurisdictions. I had a call 2 months ago with the folks down in Bowling Green. So we're always helping each other out. That's what it's all about. The 8th International Conference on Taxpayer Rights is happening at the end of next month. Jessica and I did this last year. We enjoyed it, got a lot out of it. This year it's in Santiago, Chile. So naturally, Jessica and I are not going to South America, but they have a very affordable virtual option, which we'll be taking care of. And I don't get to say this very often, but it's actually cheaper this year than it was last year. Last year, we paid $100 a person for 3 days of content, which is dirt cheap. This year, it's only $75 a person. So we're going to take advantage of it again. Lots of good information here about dispute resolution, taxpayer rights, taxpayer issues, not just in this country, but globally. So, and the judges roundtable, I will miss part of that because that will also be our commissioners meeting day, May 24th, but I'll just miss an hour of that, but I'll still be able to take care of everything else and Jessica can fill me in. But it's pretty much a taxpayer advocate ombudsman type of an issue. And we like to stay up on what the current trends are. So we will be, that was already in the budget. It was in the budget last year. I put it in for this year, but it will actually be a little cheaper this year. But I just wanted to share that with you. Next budget bullet point here, new Pitney Bowes machine meter installed. I mentioned last month the Postal Service is changing their requirements on this. And if you have an old postage meter, it is not, I think December of this year, it's no longer going to be compliant, which my understanding is it will not, the post office will not be able to read the old barcode. So our 5-year lease was up. So we went ahead and renewed, and it only went up about $70 a quarter. So that wasn't too bad. Got a brand new machine. It's fully compliant. So that's not an issue that we will have. It's been installed. We've been trained on it and it's working just fine. So that's good news. The next bullet point item, Senate Bill 112, also was passed out of the General Assembly last month and the governor signed it into law. This is really a big deal for tax administrators all across the state. Effective June 29th, we can now share confidential taxpayer information with other jurisdictions for audit purposes. In 2021, we had a little piece of this where we could just do it with employee refunds. Now we can talk about anything, net profits, payroll, whatever, even jurisdictions that have insurance premiums and transient room taxes where they collect it. So this is a big deal. Starting June 29th, we can start without an existing confidentiality or exchange of information agreement between Lexington or Jessamine County or whatever. Now we can just share that because it will be state law June 29th. So that's a pretty big deal. Another item we're very excited about this is we have received our Dropbox. And here's what it looks like. It's actually in our storage unit right now. So it's very sturdy. We got quite a deal on it. This is a $1,500 Dropbox, and we got it for $1,099 and free shipping because we bought it by March 31st. So we saved almost $500 by doing this. It's got a nice big open thing here where CPAs, sometimes they bring big packages with returns and they'll drop them at once. This will be a great customer service feature for our taxpayers. It'll be 24/7. They can come by anytime and drop off, even when we're open. We'll check it twice a day, once when we come in the morning and once when we leave at the end of the day to see if anybody's dropped off. We've already been working with the folks at the water company, have an aerial view here of the building. So this is where we are at the far left end of the water company building. So this red dot, this is where we're going to place it. And again, we've gotten this approved through the folks at the water company. So a taxpayer could come in, drive in off the street. If they have a passenger, they could go here and drop it off. Or if they're solo in the vehicle, they could come up and go this way and drop it off. People coming through here can still get around them. It will not impede the water company drive-through. So it's kind of an ideal location. We'll have to have a 3x3 concrete pad poured. We've already talked with the company about the lettering that we want on it. And I'll be in a future meeting, I'll be sharing you some of the mock-ups on that, how we want it lettered. But this will just be a great thing. And I talked with Pam, our admin, during tax week last week. She said it probably would have dropped our foot traffic in the office by 50% because a lot of people just come in, drop it off, and then go back and get in their car. This way they can stay in the car, drop it off, and we'll just pick it up at the end of the day. So we're very excited about that. And it's a fantastic customer service feature that we'll be able to offer for our taxpayers once it's installed and moving forward. Any questions about that?
I think it's great for convenience and kudos.
Yeah, I think the taxpayers are really going to appreciate it. So monthly collection stats. So March was a whopper of a month. I don't think I've ever used that term, whopper of a month, but it was. We were up over $500,000 over March 2022. That's a 14% increase. You can see the city's up 240,000. That's almost 17% increase. County's up 213,000, almost a 13% increase. And the school's up over 50,000, which is a 10.5% increase. So just a very, very solid month. It seems like our mid-April rush started a couple weeks early in March because the mail has been heavy for quite a while, and it's certainly reflected in the numbers as well. Also, this is anecdotal, but our team here is telling me it seems like the number of net profits with checks versus losses seems to be quite a bit greater this time. So there are people realizing net profits, which is good. And of course, at this point, I'll go on over to our quarterly stats. So after plugging in those numbers, that puts us for the third quarter with over $750,000 increase in collections. Now that is significantly lower than the first two quarters, but still $750,000 increase in any quarter is a good, solid, healthy increase. And for the quarter, the city wound up 334,000 over, county 345, and the school board 83,000. When you sum all that up, as of right now, as of the end of March, we're $3.5 million over what our total collections were at this same time last year. So we are really sitting in a great spot. That's the cities with a $1.3 million increase, the county 1.8 million, and the school board with 380,000. Now, I had an interesting conversation with Michelle Ray. Michelle was on earlier. I don't know if she still is, and she made a great suggestion. So I have added this extra line, and I'll keep it in there moving forward.
I'm here.
Oh, hi, Michelle, and you got your
Hi.
microphone fixed. So I added the actual distributions. This is what we collected on your behalf this year. This is what we've actually distributed to you from July to March. So, for example, Mayor, you don't have another $1.3 million potentially to spend, but you do have over $1 million. That's the actual number after we take out the refunds, the financial inducement payments to the employers, our expenses here in the Revenue Commission. We add in the interest from the bank. This number here is based on the checks we've actually sent you from July through March of this year. So you got a little over $1 million right now more in revenue than you had this time last year. The county, it's over $1.5 million, and the school board, it's $274,000. So that gives you a more realistic sense that this is great in terms of, okay, this is how much more we did in collections versus last year. This is really a Revenue Commission performance number, but this is the actual money we've given to you over the first 3 quarters of this fiscal year. So I hope you find that helpful. I think Michelle indicated she would find it very helpful. So.
No, that's much appreciated, Scott, and gives us actuals, and much appreciated. And Michelle and I talk constantly about our receipts, and also talk about she'll always break out the net profit versus occupational license fee proceeds, and she does that as well. So that's very helpful, though.
Yeah, with all, it's budget time for all of us. So these kind of numbers are very helpful, and we're sitting in a very good place. I can also add to you that it was interesting in March. We actually exceeded the March 2022 numbers on March 20th of this year. With 11 days left to go, we had already beaten March of 2022. And the same thing has happened in this month in April. By April 19th, we had already exceeded the April 2022 numbers. So we're poised here to have off to a good start here for the fourth quarter as well. So good numbers, and I'm happy to share them with you. Any questions?
No, thanks very much.
Nope. Great.
All right. So then this is the new accounts portion of it. We had 162 new accounts opened in March, 69 closed. That compares with 74 opened and 106 closed in March of 2022. So both of those numbers are going in the right direction. We're currently sitting with the first 3 months of this year. 411 new business accounts have been opened here, and we closed 145. That's an average of 137 new accounts per month for the first 3 months, and we're averaging 52 closed. So still a strong performance there in terms of how many accounts we're getting set up. And then I updated these numbers as well. So we're now, since 2017, we're net 2,000, over 2,000 new accounts. We've broken the 2,000 threshold, 2,000 more new accounts in that time period. So good news there. Still a lot of economic development activity, and I think this also feeds into the increased collections we're seeing as well. So any questions on the new or closed accounts?
Nope, appreciate that information.
You're very welcome. Well, unless anyone has anything else, that concludes the general discussion. And as I mentioned earlier, our next regularly scheduled meeting would be the fourth Wednesday in May, which is the 24th at 10 a.m.
Much appreciated. And any other questions or comments? Would there be a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor, click your leave this meeting. That's
All
what-
right.
Thanks, everybody. See you next
Later,
month.
everybody. Thanks, Scott.
Yeah.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you.